Okay, next is to introduce the course you will take in this semester. So we will introduce 541 and the 544 in sequence. So first, for the 541, Dr. James Choi will introduce the course.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, again, welcome. Good to see you. So, again, some of you were in communication with me. I have been the coordinator for the last 4 years. So this was finally time to step down, I think. Too much work. So and Dr. Choi is doing great at this point, I think. So the first course you're going to take is basically software requirements. And using some standards that we're going to introduce in this course. So from this first one, you should note is probably my office number, just in case you want to come here. Office 427. This is the other building, 4th floor. I have a really nice office. It has 6 windows. Anyway, and more importantly, I have a lot of suites in my office. So candies and stuff, just in case you want to come by. If you're here and you're tired working around, need some sweets, come by my office. I'm always ready there. Another one probably you want to notice here is the office hours, Monday, Wednesday, 2 to 3 p.m. And Thursdays, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. So probably for you guys, probably Thursday will be more convenient. But if you cannot make it one of these time slots, probably obviously can contact me. I usually am here every day, so you can also come in on Fridays. Probably not on Saturdays, so probably, but Friday would be a good time. I usually set Friday afternoon for students' communication project purposes. So make an appointment with me. I'm very flexible, so we can do that. So what is background on this course? Okay, so some of you know the name F.B. Brooks, one of the gurus in software engineering. And he was the IBM 360 product manager. And so one of the old guards. And also he was professor at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hills. And he authored many important papers, fundamental papers in software engineering. And probably one is that the Mythical Man Month. It's an old paper, but it's still very interesting to read. And also there's something called No Silver Bullet. All right, so probably some of you know these papers. So what he said is really interesting. After he went through creating the IBM 360 operating system, he said the single hardest part of building a software system is deciding precisely what to build. Okay. So no other part of work so cripples the resulting system if done wrong. No other part is more difficult to rectify later. So if you don't do the requirements correctly, you're going to create a mess. And then also later on to rectify that problem, it would be more difficult. So moreover, what he said was the following. So failure to understand and control the requirements is the #1 cause of project failure. So I agree fully with that, obviously, since I'm teaching. Some of you may disagree with that, but I do agree with that. So requirements really, first step is really important, right? And why? So I just think so we're going to talk about more in the class, but I'll give you just 2 studies. There has been a study about customer satisfaction. So obviously, if you build a software, it's the most important thing is you satisfy your customer, right? That's if you're in industry. So there has been a study that basically they studied 39 projects, and then 33 of them felt they really got a really good project or a successful project or the customer satisfied, if the requirements were very well specified during a certain way. Okay, so we're going to talk about it. So over 90% of projects were satisfactory or successful if the requirements are well defined. Right, that's very high successful rate. And in terms of cost also. So I just want to show you a graph here. It says that basically this is cost to correct defect, all right? And these are kind of life cycle requirement specification, design, implementation, and operational maintenance. So what basically shows, if you look at it, probably some of you saw this picture here. So if you normalize the cost for correcting defects during the requirement phase is 1. So there's a defect. If you basically one of the things, if you discover the defect during the requirements phase is just say 1 unit, all right? Now if you discover the same defect during specification phase, it would be cost 2, right, twice. Now if you discover during design phase, 6-fold, 6. Now during implementation and validation tests, it goes skyrocket to 20. Now once it goes to operation and doing maintenance, it goes like 67, 200, 300 folds, right? So what this picture tells us that the earlier you discover the defect, the cost-wise is really better, all right? So we want to see well-defined requirements. That's very, very important, okay? So the goals of this course, there are two folds. One is that basically how do we establish then an excellent requirement software system? That's very important. So we're going to talk about requirement analysis, requirement specification, requirement verification, basically coming up with well-defined requirements, which is really important. And secondly, also important is the requirements change. Right? Once you establish requirements, doesn't mean it's going to stay there. There will be constant pressure from your clients to change things. Right? Even your building, even they agreed initially, they come back saying, okay, change it. That's how that is. So then how do you manage those requirements and change these requirements? So two folds, establish it, set a baseline. And once you have baseline and you sign the contract with clients, then how do we basically change the management, managing the changes, right? So these are two things. And so we'll come up with some kind of documentation. And so we're going to using the IEEE standards documentation, a little bit modified one, to come up with requirements. All right. So that would be basically the goal of this course. Oh, okay. So 2 textbooks. So there are 2 textbooks here. One is from Uyghurs. This one is a thick book, but probably will not be able to cover everything, especially online. But we'll cover the most important chapters. So I'll give you the chapters you need to read. And so this is very easy to read. It's not that difficult. It's not that technical, okay? So you should be able to take care of it very quickly, especially if you work industry. So you have some experience, this should not be that difficult. And another one, recommended text is this IEEE standard. So this one is just a recommended. So that means you don't have to buy. So if I need a certain chapter, provide those to you. So don't buy that one, all right? So this one probably you should buy because it's required textbook. All right, so buy that one. And also I'll be providing a lot of online materials, especially the supplements to certain chapters. So the book doesn't have everything that I want technical sense. So I'm going to provide you additional technical materials from different books. Probably I'll give you also a couple of papers to read, again, from books. The Medical Man Month, and that's really interesting, again, paper to read. And those silver bullet is a paper you should read. Okay, so I'll provide you those also. So there'll be quite a few online materials besides the required textbook. So make sure you read those also. So some of you are interested, some of you are coming back from long absence of going to study at university environment, so you're coming back. So how do I get an A here? So the coursework will include three things in this case. One is exams, the other one is term project, and participation point. So exams, obviously, probably you remember from your old days. So there's one midterm and one final. So that basically 50%. And so we're going to use a titanium, there's exam feature that we're going to use. So again, I'm going to let you know how we're going to use it. Probably I'll let you know probably 1 week before the exam is taking place, how you can use it. So really simple to use. So we're going to do that, about 50%. And then there's a term project. So term project typically is a group project. So one of the good things if you come here is you can look at your classmates, course mates, and see who could be my possible also project mate. Okay. So try before you leave here today, what you should do is get to know at least 3 or 4 who could be your possible project partners. Okay, so make sure you know them. So since its typical size is 3, sometimes, so if you have like 35, so it would be like 11 plus 2, 11 groups plus 2. So in that case, probably we're going to have 4, a group of 4. But generally, in my case, some professors different requirements. But in my case, I want to have like 3 initially. But if there are 1 or 2 remaining, or someone cannot find the group, obviously we can include him or her to some other groups. Okay, but try to find at least 3, including you yourself. All right. So again, the project is to write the requirements analysis. So basically how to, given a project, I give you a problem. Then you'll look at the problem, how to analyze the problem, and how to specify the requirements, how to verify the requirements, and all those things, the whole step of requirement engineering. Okay, so we're going to do that. And so there'll be, you have to submit things, there will be milestones. It's not like, end of semester you turn in, then everybody gets surprised. So there'll be milestones you have to, at least there's a couple of submissions you have to do. So where I'm going to check, make sure you guys are on the right track. And so if you make sure that you submit or you meet those deadlines, if you miss those, there may be some deductions. All right, so this is deduction policy. Basically, if you miss the turn-in date, there will be 10% automatic deduction, and 1% each day you're late. That is, for example, if you're late for 1 week, there will be 10 plus 6, 7 days. So there will be 16% deduction from if you submit late. All right, so that's late submission policy for term projects, and also later on I'll show you the participation points. All right. So the last part is participation. There are 2 parts in participation. One is chapter summary. So probably you're going to learn 19 plus 4, 23 chapters. So once you read a chapter, I ask you to submit a chapter summary for each chapter. You may wonder, I'm questioning why do I submit chapter summaries, right? So the reason I'm doing this is so you learn it. You're forced to read it, right? So kind of online is a little bit different. Again, I don't see you guys, and so I'm sure you guys are studying very hard, but in face-to-face, I can look at your eyes and saying, oh, this group is studying or not going. Otherwise, I don't see you. I don't know what you guys are doing. So I want to kind of force you to read things. That's why I have chapter summary here. So you have 1 or 2 pages per chapter, and it should have 2 parts. One is important concepts of the particular chapter, and more importantly, your ideas. What did you learn from this chapter? So your own words. Okay, otherwise, some people just cut and paste and submit this chapter summary. So I want you to actually really think about it, about these concepts, and write your own words. Okay, so the 2 parts, all right? So again, later will be accepted. There will be a link you can submit, so things will come, all right? So, but if you're turning late, there will be deductions, all right? All right, another one, discussion board. So I will be creating discussion boards. So then once you read chapters, you need to submit your thoughts about things, about this particular topic. So then you can submit your thoughts on it. So whatever you submit it as your ideas in part 2, can be part of your submission for discussion boards. For discussion boards, there is no late submission. Okay, so you have to submit when is the deadline. You have to submit it for that, right? So we'll talk more about it later on. So the grading policy is again midterm 20, final 30, term 30%, and class participation 20, altogether 100%. So how do you get an A? So we have a plus minus system. So if you had 90% or above, you get automatically A minus. So at least A minus, what you mean, you can get higher. So if you get a 90%, so that you had automatic A minus, but could get higher, actually A. So minimum is A minus. So I have a little bit of latitude there. So if some entire class is around 90%, then I may, say it's better than A minus is A. Okay. But if you are sure to get A minus if you have 90% or above. Same thing with 80% with B minus and C minus. So nobody got, I think, D minus, C minus in my class. So usually you get a minimum. Minimum is not the right word, but B minus. Okay. All right. All right. So what you need to do, I'm going to make the material for our course available Sunday night or Monday morning 9 o'clock. So you should be able to, as Dr. Joe showed, if you log into your CSUF portal, you should be able to see CS 541 visible. Click on that, then you get to my course, and all the material available will be shown. Okay, so you can, there'll be instructions. You get an email also on Sunday night from me or Monday morning. So what you need to do in that particular week. So there will be course syllabus available. Once you log in, and please read that, as Dr. Choi said, read. So read that course syllabus very carefully. And more importantly, there will be course calendar. So in 6 weeks, everything prescribed. There are dates, what you need to do in the particular week, what you have to submit, so when the midterm exam is, when the final exam is. So everything is listed there. All right. So kind of that's your thing you should carry around. So you can look at it saying, oh, what's due this week? Okay, then it should show everything. All right. So what you need to do is you need to print, I hope you can print that one and then put it next to your work desk. See, you can look at it all the time. Okay, what is due this week? What is due this week? So it should show everything. Just the follow calendar. All right, let's make sure it has, again, course things you need to study, things you turn in. So everything is listed there, all right? Make sure you do that. So also make sure that you participate the discussion boards, midterm and term project, and final exam. So important thing is, again, planning is really important. I know you guys are really busy. You need to allocate time, right? So whether it's weekend or during weekdays doesn't matter, but you need to certain time, you need to allocate time and planning. That's really important. So again, that Joe talked about it, so I'm not going to go into that. So any questions to this course? Yeah, sure.
Let's look at the Titan Store.
The book?
Yeah.
Yes, Titan Store has it, but there's one thing is you can get from Amazon.com probably. They should have it. But now there is, if you don't want to spend too much money, there's an electronic version of it. So I think it's much less expensive. If you like electronic, some people like to really have something, physical thing. So yeah, Titan Bookstore should have it. Yeah, but it's expensive. I don't know. Does it answer your question? Okay. Yeah.
Are you going to send this presentation to our emails?
I'm going to post it online also.
Okay.
So I put everything, whatever I discuss here, I put it online.
Okay.
So you can, on Sunday night, you get an email saying everything's ready. Then you can log into your system again. You'll see the link saying that whatever is 541, click on that, then you'll get to my course. Then you'll see this one and all the course material for the first week. So I do by week, not showing you everything at once, then you'll be overwhelmed. So for the particular week, I show what things to do, and lecture material and everything will be posted. So you can get that on either Sunday night or Monday morning.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah,
So you were mentioning before that we have to make 2 comments on the discussion board, or at least 2 minimum.
yeah, basically for each chapter, you should put 2 your thoughts, ideas.
Sure.
So in total, so we're gonna have, again, you're gonna learn probably 23 chapters, altogether 19 plus 4, so 23 chapters. So that means, so I'm gonna tell you later on. I'll send out email what you need to do. So there'll be probably 5 discussion boards. So for each, probably you submit 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are more instructions to follow. Okay. Any other question? Yeah, sure.
We're putting together a group for 544,
544. Okay.
and would you essentially use the same group for this one, or you want
Well-
it to be 3 or a minimum of 3? Should it be different groups?
So I hear that Dr. Choi has, I think, different idea. So that question I'm getting every time. So I'm a little bit conflicted on that one. So my project is not that big. So if you have 5 people, 2 of you, 1 or 2 of you are probably a really easy time. Free ride. So you don't want that probably, right? So
Split them maybe into 2 groups?
yeah, probably it's a better idea. But if 4 is okay for me too, kind of 4. Okay, I mentioned normal size 3. But if it's 4, 5 is definitely, for me, it's a little bit too many. But there are always exceptions, right? So if you come by my office, buy me lunch, I think about it. Okay. Otherwise, let's try to keep it 3, but there are exceptions. All right. So since we are online basis and you're grad students, I know, and we'd like to be more flexible. So if there's any problem, let me know. So we'll try to work it out something. Okay. It's not like cast in stone. I think this is it. All right. So let's try to work it out. All right. Yes, sir.
And part of the participation, is it to also reply to other people?
No, you can look at other people's actually posting. If you feel that, if you have any other thoughts, you can submit that counted as a posting. So it doesn't have to be your own. If you respond to other people's submission, that will be as counted as posting. Yeah. So again, spend today time. Hopefully, you can find at least 3 or 4 more. It's really important later on. Also, if you're later on looking for, some of you do have a good job, but some of you are looking for a job. So that networking is really important. So look around. Who could be a really rich person or very experienced? So find that person and get to know each other. That's really important. Any other questions? All right. Good success. Talk to you later.